James Comey, the FBI director fired by Trump during his first term, is now facing charges from a grand jury.
I have great confidence in the federal judicial system, and I'm innocent. So let's have a trial.
I'm Daily Wire executive editor John Bickley with Georgia Howe. It's Friday, September 26th. This is Morning Wire. The FBI releases more information on the Dallas anti-ICE gunman, saying he wanted to unleash real terror against the agency.
FBI agents executed a search warrant at the sniper's residence yesterday, and there found a collection of notes.
And video of another shocking smash and grab in California goes viral. But Gavin Newsom says the real threat to his state is federal agents.
That's happening in the United States of America. Masked men jumping out of unmarked cars, people disappearing, no due process.
Thanks for waking up with Morning Wire. Stay tuned. We have the news you need to know.
This episode is brought to you by American Beverage, representing the local and many family-owned bottlers and distributors of Coca-Cola, Dr. Pepper, and Pepsi products operating in all 50 states. These are drinks we've all loved for generations. These iconic brands are part of the American story and have been for over 100 years. With all the talks about American jobs lately, American beverage companies have been delivering on that promise all along. They always have been and always will be American companies making American products with American workers in American hometowns. 275,000 men and women in all 50 states show up every day, do the work, and deliver for our economy and our communities. Learn more about America's beverage companies at wedeliverforamerica.org.
Former FBI Director James Comey was indicted last night on charges related to his handling of the Trump-Russia investigation. Here to talk about Comey's indictment is Daily Wire reporter Tim Pierce. So, Tim, there were rumors that this could happen, but still it sent shockwaves when the indictment was actually unsealed. What is Comey being accused of right now?
He's been indicted on charges of giving false statements and obstruction of a congressional proceeding. The alleged false statements came out of a September 30th, 2020 congressional hearing. According to the indictment, this appears to be the moment that prosecutors zeroed in on between Comey and Senator Ted Cruz.
On May 3rd, 2017, in this committee, Chairman Grassley asked you point blank, quote, "Have you ever been an anonymous source in news reports about matters relating to the Trump investigation or the Clinton investigation?" You responded under oath, quote, "Never." He then asked you, quote, "Have you ever authorized someone else at the FBI to be an anonymous source in news reports about the Trump investigation or the Clinton administration?" You responded again under oath, "No." Now, as you know, Mr. McCabe, who works for you, has publicly and repeatedly stated that he leaked information to the Wall Street Journal and that you were directly aware of it and that you directly authorized it. Now, what Mr. McCabe is saying and what you testified to this committee cannot both be true. One or the other is false. Who's telling the truth?
I can only speak to my testimony. I stand by what the testimony you summarized that I gave in May of 2017.
So your testimony is you've never authorized anyone to leak. And Mr. McCabe, if he says contrary, is not telling the truth. Is that correct?
Again, I'm not going to characterize Andy's testimony, but mine is the same today.
Comey's expected to surrender for arrest later today. The charges are part of the saga and fallout from the 2016 Russia collusion hoax that lasted for years, spurred multiple special counsels, and really hobbled Trump's first term. That episode and the lack of accountability from the president's view has been a major irritant to Trump. Comey is now the first former senior administration official to face charges over it.
Now, has Comey responded to these charges yet?
Yeah, he put out a video statement last night. Here's part of it.
My family and I have known for years that there are costs to standing up to Donald Trump, but we couldn't imagine ourselves living any other way. We will not live on our knees, and you shouldn't either. Somebody that I love dearly recently said that fear is the tool of a tyrant, and she's right. But I'm not afraid, and I hope you're not either. I hope instead you are engaged, you are paying attention, and you will vote like your beloved country depends upon it, which it does.
What about President Trump? Has he talked about it yet?
Before the charges came out, Trump essentially said that Comey is a bad guy, but that he hasn't been involved in any prosecutorial decisions about the former FBI director. After the indictment dropped, Trump wrote on Truth Social that Comey is, quote, one of the worst human beings this country has ever been exposed to. He added that Comey is now at the beginning of being held responsible for his crimes against our nation. Attorney General Pam Bondi said in a statement that no one is above the law and that the charges are about holding those who abuse positions of power accountable for misleading the American people. FBI Director Kash Patel echoed those sentiments in his own statement and added that corrupt leadership has damaged the reputation of the FBI and that accountability is needed to repair that trust.
Now, why are these charges coming now?
Well, the statute of limitations for lying to Congress is 5 years, and these statements were made on September 30th, 2020. So in another few days, Comey would have been out of a prosecutor's reach, at least on these particular charges. And according to reports, the Justice Department had about as difficult a time deciding whether to bring these charges as the lateness of them would suggest.
Well, it was enough for a grand jury, but we'll have to see if these charges stand in court. Tim, thanks for reporting.
Good to be on.
If you run a small business, you know there's nothing small about it. Even the smallest decisions can feel massive. That's where Shopify comes in. Shopify is the e-commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world, from household names to brands that are just getting started. You can tackle all the important tasks all in one place, from inventory to payments to analytics and more. Even marketing becomes a breeze thanks to their built-in tools for running social media and email campaigns, helping you find new customers and keep them coming back. Plus, Shopify's global selling tools have you covered internationally in over 150 countries, and their award-winning point of sale connects your online and offline sales all in the same place. With an impressive 99.99 uptime and the highest converting checkout experience on the planet, you'll never miss another sale. That's the Shopify advantage. Get all the big stuff for your small business right with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period and start selling today at shopify.com/morningwire. Head over to shopify.com/morningwire. Again, that's shopify.com/morningwire.
We're continuing to learn more about what motivated a shooter to open fire on an ICE facility in Dallas Wednesday morning.
Daily Wire immigration reporter Jenny Terr has the latest. So, Jenny, we've learned a lot over the last 24 hours or so. What are authorities saying the motive was for this shooter?
Right. So federal authorities on Thursday held a press conference in Dallas where they revealed that the shooter, Joshua John, had left behind a trail of notes that revealed some eerie messages about his attack and what he had planned for authorities after the attack. And it appears that he also had planned to commit suicide, which he did in the attack. But these notes left some details about what his motives are. Those motives include wanting to shoot ICE agents in the attack. He wanted to inflict terror on them, he said in those notes, and he did not want the collateral damage of shooting or injuring any illegal immigrant detainees, which, of course, we know ended up happening. Here's the acting U.S. attorney on this.
The tragic irony for his evil plot here is that it was a detainee who was killed and 2 other detainees that were injured when he fired into the Sally Port. He also hoped his actions would give ICE agents real terror of being gunned down, and he did this to induce constant stress in their lives. He hoped his actions would terrorize ICE employees and interfere with their work, which he called human trafficking. And this, what he did, is the very definition of terrorism.
Authorities also said during that press conference that they believe that he acted alone and left a message indicating just that on one of the notes. They also said that his plans were months in the making.
Do we have any information about what the agents and those detainees were doing at the time of that shooting?
Right. So this is something that just came out on Thursday in that press conference. You had ICE official Marcos Charles, who came out and said that these agents were heroic in their efforts while bullets were being sprayed in their direction. They were actually working to save those ICE detainees that they had just arrested, that they were transporting from vans into the ICE facility. They were spending their time risking their lives in that moment, which he said really reveals what ICE agents are all about, that they're about protecting everyone, that they're about putting their lives on the line to do so. And he said that these individuals who are wanting to vilify and attack ICE are really not realizing what they're doing, not realizing what ICE is all about, that they're protecting even them, protecting their safety. He also talked about these applications that have been created to expose ICE, to show their whereabouts and their locations in the United States as they operate and make arrests as part of the Trump administration's mass deportation effort. And he said that those individuals are really to blame for attacks like these, because in this instance, you had Joshua John using these apps before the shooting. They had detected that he was making searches on those apps. He was also searching online, things like looking for the Charlie Kirk shooting video and similar instances of attacks and the locations of ICE facilities across the country. He really spent a lot of time online trying to find out more about how he could inflict harm on ICE agents. And Charles spoke to this issue of these apps and these efforts to dox agents during the press conference. Here he is talking more about that.
Anyone who creates or distributes these apps that is designed to spot, track, and locate ICE officers are well aware of the dangers that they are exposing to law enforcement. It's a casting call to invite bad actors to attack law enforcement officers. It's no different than giving a hitman the location of their intended target, and this is exactly what we saw happen in Dallas yesterday. The media has been amplifying these apps even as we warned them it would only lead to more attacks on law enforcement. We truly wish we didn't have to say, "I told you so," but here we are.
Well, that's exactly what some authorities were warning about with these apps, that things like this could happen. Jenny, thanks for reporting.
Thank you.
A string of violent smash and grab robbery schemes in California is drawing renewed attention to the state's crime issues. Meanwhile, Governor Gavin Newsom is ratcheting up language against federal law enforcement.
Here are the details is Daily Wire reporter Amanda Presta-Giacomo. Hey, Amanda. So we're seeing more of these really alarming mob-style robberies out of California. Specifically, the Bay Area seems to be particularly bad. First, how bad is this problem? How often is this actually happening?
Well, one expert said that there have been 30 of these violent mob-style robberies in Cali just since March, and these are just the ones affecting jewelry stores specifically. And we're talking about millions of dollars worth of merchandise being stolen, and oftentimes the suspects involved are juveniles. Just this past week, an armed gang of up to 30 people raided a jewelry store outside of San Francisco. They smashed cases with crowbars and pickaxes, and they stole around $1 million worth of goods. Due to new security measures that were implemented after a 2023 robbery, the suspects were locked inside. However, they used guns and they shot their way out of the store. Authorities so far have arrested 7 suspects. They're all from Oakland, and they range in age from 17 to 31. Law enforcement believes that these are repeat offenders. Now, 2 similar robberies took place within just the past few weeks. One of them was at a Bay Area shop called Kim Hung Jewelry. In this case, a car crashed through the store and more than a dozen robbers smashed display cases and they stole merchandise. The 88-year-old store owner was shoved to the ground. He suffered a stroke and was cut by broken glass. A family friend of the victim talked to ABC7. Here's a direct quote. "He is okay. Business is not okay. Everyone knows the situation right now. Every business is in danger." Scott Goginski, who's the VP of Jewelers Security Alliance, he spoke to ABC7 about this trend, and he said he's never seen this level of violence.
Since March, we've had 30 violent robberies in California, targeting jewelry stores. This is something I haven't seen in my 30 plus years of investigating jewelry crime with the NYPD.
As we've covered here, President Trump is really determined to lower crime rates, particularly in some of these Democrat-run cities. He's specifically cited Los Angeles and Oakland. Just last month, actually, the U.S. News and World Report ranked Oakland as the second most dangerous city in the nation, only second to Memphis, another city that's been cited by Trump. Those rankings are based on FBI crime rates, specifically murder and property crime for every 100,000 people. California's Governor Gavin Newsom, however, he's pushed back on this, and he claims that California's crime is under control and it's not an issue.
Right. I mean, while Newsom is really focusing on federal authorities, particularly immigration authorities, what have we seen from the governor on that front?
Yeah, we've seen a lot, actually. On Tuesday, Newsom generated a lot of criticism for how he described ICE agents during an appearance on Stephen Colbert's left-wing late-night show.
No oversight, zero accountability happening in the United States of America today. People ask, well, is authoritarianism, you're being hyperbolic? We're being hyperbolic. If you're a black and brown community, it's here in this country. I mean, if some guy jumped out of an unmarked car in a van with a mask on, tried to grab me, I mean, by definition, you're going to push back. These authoritarian actions by an authoritarian government.
Additionally, just this past weekend, Newsom signed a law that bans ICE agents from wearing masks while they make arrests. They do this currently to protect their identities due to increased threats and violence against ICE agents. Assaults on ICE agents actually have jumped 830% compared to just a year ago. DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin, she called this new law despicable and a flagrant attempt to endanger federal officers. Agency sources have actually talked to the Daily Wire about this, and they say that new law is not going to stop agents from masking while they make arrests. One source said, quote, "Nice try by Newsom, but he knows it doesn't apply to federal agents. He loves stirring the pot so that people find more ways to bring conflict to ICE."
Well, that law is getting even more attention now with this deadly targeting of ICE in Dallas, as Jenny just reported on. Amanda, thank you so much for reporting.
You're welcome.
Thanks for waking up with us. And if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. We'll be back later this evening with more news you need to know.